Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is a Get Ready With Me. Welcome to everyone watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This is going to be a real-time Get Ready With Me. I am going to be doing my makeup as I'm just chatting to you. It's the early morning. I have to head to work in a second. It's around 8 o'clock in the morning, in case you're wondering. So if I look a little puffy, I had a great night's sleep, but it did mean that I now feel like this, and I'm a little bit congested. I'm not sure. I think I'm coming down with a cold. So I feel puffy and a little nasally and a little raspy and a little short of breath. So I'm feeling great, but I had a great night's sleep, so that helps. And I have a couple of classes to teach today. It's actually the final week of actual lessons at the school I work at this week. And after that, it's exams period, and we are already working on end of year assessments as well. So everyone who is slated to graduate has their final assignments as well that we're currently dealing with. So it's been busy. It's been hectic some days as well. Like, I wasn't home until well after working hours the past 2 days, but hey ho, it's fine. It's been a lot of fun as well, so I feel good. And I thought I could just come on here for a quick little video to chat about the makeup, but also to just chat with you and do like as much of a real-time Get Ready With Me as I can. So primer, in case you don't know, I'm just using what's in my shop, my stash currently. So I've got the Glossier Futuredew that's now all over my face. And I always apply a little bit of lip balm when I start my makeup routine. And this is by C.O. Bigelow. My next step is always an eyeshadow primer. I'm currently using the NYX HD eyeshadow primer, which is good. This is like the second or third time that I'm using this, and it's fine. It's not my favorite because I don't love the doe foot. It doesn't make it easy enough for me to apply, because I need to like rub it in with a finger anyway, so I might as well use a squeezy tube. And I feel that that way I get the best application. So because this has a doe foot, it isn't my top favorite, so that may be good to know. I haven't been wearing much foundation the past few days because we had some warmer weather again, and it was very humid, and then I don't always like wearing foundation. But I'm gonna go in with the Luminous Silk from Armani. I think this is in shade 3. Yes. I think it's a little bit too yellow for me, to be quite fair, but I think we're doing okay. And I like to apply a foundation by first spreading it out with my fingers, and then blending it in with a brush. But I feel this way I get the best application. By the way, if you're wondering what's up here, I have some discoloration which seems to be hormone related. That has nothing to do with my makeup, but it's very difficult to cover up with makeup because part of it is in my hairline. So it's difficult to actually blend the foundation there because I have very light hair. It's very obvious if I bring the makeup up too high. So that's why I can't really cover it the way you might expect me to, because like my hairline sort of starts here. So that's been great. Every year in the wintertime it seems to be going away. And then summertime hits and we get warmer weather, and even if I stay out the sun, I feel like it intensifies. So it probably has to do with like a certain level of heat intolerance. But it could also be stress, so I'm not entirely sure. But it's definitely not sun damage, I know that much. Because it doesn't get worse whether I've been in the sun. It really has to do with like temperature. So once temperatures hit like 25 degrees, it tends to intensify. Every single year in the wintertime, I'm like, I think it's going away. And then much nicer weather hits and it becomes warmer and it tends to intensify. I don't know. It seems to be some form of melasma, which you can deal with skincare, but it is definitely something where you just need a lot of patience, and you just need a lot of consistency with your skincare routine. And that's been something that, you know, I've been trying out quite a few things, so I'm not entirely sure whether that has contributed to it. So that could very well be. using the Tower 28 Swipe On Concealer in shade CC. And I just always use the same brush by Sigma to apply both foundation and concealer. This is the F47 Multitasker from Sigma. Yeah, I'm not too worried about those darker patches. It's just a thing. It's just part of me. I've had it before, years ago, and that went away on its own. So I'm hoping that this will also just go away on its own. It seems to be like when my body is going through certain changes, that's when it crops up, and it can be there for like a good couple of years. And then all of a sudden it starts to disappear. So it's just a matter of being patient and sticking to a skincare routine. I have invested into some products that promise to help with these kind of dark spots and all that stuff. So I hope that those products can be of help. But for the most part, I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I do get questions like why there are dark patches here, or people say I don't blend my makeup well enough. It's not the makeup, okay? Let me see. I'm going in with powder. This is the Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Airy. I'm really, really nicely digging my way through. It hard panned really quickly on me when I first started using it, and then I scraped off the top. Not sure if you can see. And I've just been able to use it really nicely now. So it hasn't been hard panning, doesn't do anything like that. And I always like to just lightly powder my base, so just wherever I feel it can get a little bit creasy. And I'm using the BK Beauty 112 brush for that very targeted powder application. Then I like to go in with brows. It's my Soap and Glory Archery brow pencil with my Essence Make Me Brow. You all know I love these products to bits. I think they are excellent. So I still have them in my shop, my stash. This brow pencil I think is going to run out sometime this summer, but it's been one of those like thinner tipped eyebrow pencils, which sometimes can run out really quickly, but I feel that this one is a little harder. So the product doesn't wear down as quickly as some other brow pencils do. So that's why I think it's great value for money, and I feel the same way about the Make Me Brow, but from Essence. I get mine from my local drugstore, so they always put stickers on it so nobody steals them, but it's been a favorite, not just because it is affordable, but because it lasts a long time. I find with a lot of brow gels that they seem to expire really quickly. Like, you take them out of the tube and either the formula has glooped up and it becomes unusable, or it makes your brows really crispy after a while, or that a brow product just smells really off very quickly. And with this, I feel I can actually use it up before any of that actually happens. So an affordable one that I really like the formula of as well. So that's the brows done. Means we're going into cheeks, and I have my little Nabla combo here with a blush I want to show you because it's a new product and I just thought I could show you. So here is the Nabla Skin Glazing Bronzing Powder in the shade Ambra. I know nobody talks about this anymore. This was all the rage a couple of years ago, and I still think this is such a good product. It's just one of those things that, you know, Nabla still does, and then it's forgotten in the makeup community because it's not a new product and we get so many bronzers and blushes and highlighters all the time that it's difficult to then go back to your old favorites. But there's a reason why mine looks like this. You know, it looks trashy because I've used it so many times. It just is. The highlighter is from that same Nabla range. This is the Skin Glazing Highlighter in the shade Privilege. This is also a beautiful product. And, you know, this is just how I do my makeup before I head out to the door to work. I have about 20 minutes to do my makeup in the morning, so not a whole lot, because I do need to get to that class and teach it this morning, which I think is different from other people who create videos online, like, especially if they're full-time YouTubers. I'm like, maybe they just have a bit more time on their hands and they can like create these outrageous eye looks. I have about 5 minutes to create an eye look from start to finish, so not a lot of time. And this is the product I wanted to showcase for you today. This is the Merit Flush Balm in the shade Archival. If you watch my vlog that went on the live on the other channel that I did yesterday, actually you will see me use the Mina no rules stick that I did in that makeup look. And I have found with this Flush Balm that it's actually best if you apply it straight from this little dome. So first I apply it to my cheeks. I don't love this method of application, but I find that the formula is so thin that if I apply it with my fingers, it doesn't quite work. So this has been the best way to get this to transfer and to still get that nice sort of flushed makeup-y look. And I always feel I get more blush on this cheek than I do this. So let me apply a little bit more on this side. And then that's the Merit Flush Balm. I think it's a really pretty shade. It suits me very well. It looks really brown in the packaging, I find. But then when I look at it on my face, I'm like, that actually doesn't look that brown. It's more of a pink. So looks can be deceiving with this one. And then the pièce de résistance, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I like to go in with a second eyeshadow primer because of my eye shape. A lot of people think I have hooded eyes. I kind of do. I use a lot of the strategies that are recommended for hooded eyes very often, but I actually have more deep set eyes than I do hooded eyes. So the reason why I have overlap isn't a skin fold, it's bone structure. So because it's a different reason, I do need to use different tactics. And one of them has been to apply the NYX primer at the start, which has now had a chance to settle down so it can really grip on. And then to go in with a MAC Paint Pot, which has a bit of a skin tone vibe to it. So it acts like concealer. And I apply this with fingers so I can really get it to go down as thinly as possible because you don't want to overdo this. That's why I don't like concealers for this step. You could, but a lot of my concealers are very creamy because that's what my face just needs. And a lot of the concealers that will get this level of coverage are too thick and they will crease on me if I put it in this area on my face. And then I do like to set that with an eyeshadow because I don't like a tacky base. I know a lot of people say, oh, you need a tacky base for the intensity of your eyeshadows. You don't. That's actually bad makeup technique in my opinion. I find that if I set it with just a light dusting, I have this super fluffy brush and I just lightly dust it on just to take the tackiness away so I don't over powder. Again, could you use a face powder for this? You certainly could. But I feel like face powder sometimes has a slightly different texture, again, because my face needs something differently than my lids. But in a pinch, you could definitely use that. And then the eyeshadow palette I want to use today is the Melt Gemini II. This is still from my Shop My Stash from May because I did not have enough time to try out all of the new eyeshadow palettes and to do looks with some of the eyeshadow palettes I wanted to revisit. But I'm wearing pink and red today, and I was like, maybe you can do like a rosy toned eye with a bit of the green on the lower lash line. I thought that could be fun, so that's what we're gonna do. So let me grab my mirror, whack on this eyeshadow, and then I will be back with you in a second. Okay, so that eye look is done and a little bit smokier than I had expected. There's this really nice deeper shimmer in the palette that I decided to use all over the lid, but it has a very dark brown base, which I had not seen before applying it, so it's fine. I've just set my face with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh setting spray. And the way I like to do my eyeshadow actually is to have two mirrors. So I always have a mirror sitting right in front of me so I can see the close-ups. But I always check my look a couple of times in a mirror I have here so I can see the wider picture of what my full face looks like. Because that way I can really gauge, like, is my eyeshadow up high enough and all that. I know sometimes people say, like, oh, your eyeshadow isn't up high enough, but I literally use the same techniques every single time I do my makeup. It's just that some shadows are a little easier to blend. So this was, for instance, easier to blend. So I can get a nice blend towards my brow bone. On camera, because the shadows are a little bit of a clash with my skin tone, I feel it looks like the eyeshadow isn't up as high as it is, but my eyeshadow, like my brow is right here and my eyeshadow is up to here in real life. It's blended. That's why you don't see it on camera, especially not from this distance. But there's shadow there, trust me. There is shadow there. It's just that I don't like it on myself if my eyeshadow is super intense, because this is already my brow bone. Like this part sticks out and it looks really weird in real life. So even though sometimes things don't show up on camera, that doesn't mean that the person didn't do it, because when you're looking at something in an image, it goes from 3D to a flat 2D image, and that skews your perspective on whatever it is you're looking at. So something that looks good in real life doesn't always translate well to what it looks like on camera. And I'm fully aware of that, and I feel like some people will say like, but you need to make it look good for camera. But this is literally what I do every single day. Whenever you see me, like when I do my eyeshadow palette review videos, those looks you see that I post the close-ups for, I did in a situation like this, getting ready for work, because else I will not be able to have all those looks in that video to begin with, if I have to go out and do them all separately and make them all look pretty for you. It's just, I need it to be functional for my day-to-day life. And because I need it to be functional in my day-to-day life, I do not tend to be very conscious of, does this translate well in the images I'll take later? I just check to see what I look at in the mirror, and if I feel happy with that, I'm happy with my makeup look. I think it's going to be a twig day today, because that has a hint of warmth. So I'm gonna go in with MAC's Twig. This is how I always do this. I always do the rest of my makeup, and then I decide which lipstick is going to bring the look together. That's the way we roll here. And I think Twig is doing a good enough job of pulling this together and making it look great, because I feel it brings out the pinks and the warmth in the eye look to the lips, and it makes it a little bit more cohesive. So yeah, that's it. That was my little rambly get ready with me. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I do something like this like once a month, where I just chat to you guys, sometimes about a topic I actually want to talk about, like last month, and sometimes I just want to sit and chat and do my makeup with you guys. So maybe you followed along. I really don't do that many interesting steps when it comes to my makeup routine, I find, but I do enjoy doing these videos and just chat to you guys this way. So hope this video was helpful in some way, that you got something out of it, and then I hope to see you again really, really soon in a new video. Thumbs it up in the meantime, subscribe so you can stay updated when I post new videos, and then I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!